one thing at a time. I would like to share with you a very effective little exercise that has helped so many of my clients really get focused and believing that they can have what they want. And this exercise not only will help you with that, but it will help you if you are experiencing any anxiety or any feeling of hopelessness, or if you're spiraling in your mind and you feel like you have all these intrusive thoughts, so to speak, right? Or you just feel like your mind is out of control. I want to teach you guys this exercise that I actually taught many clients, thousands of clients in my psychotherapy practice when I practiced as a therapist. And I actually still have clients that reach out to me and tell me that they're so grateful that I taught them this. And it's so simple, but so effective to bring you back into your power. And that is what I want to share with you. And I'm going to share with I have little objects that I'm going to use in this video. So stick with me. I think you guys are going to really enjoy this. So, but before we get started, my name is Rose and welcome to The Rosey Life, where we help you free your mind and follow your heart so you get what you want. Freeing your mind is so important and it's so liberating because you're letting go of any belief or anything that you have held onto that is not helping you right now. And following your heart is something that a lot of people are not used to, and we're not brought up to doing this. We look at following our heart is to avoid fear or avoid bad things, but following your heart is actually where all your power is. So that is what I love to help people do. And if you are interested in working with me one-on-one, go to TheRoseyLife.com and you can see the options on how to work with me one-on-one. And I would love to have you. We also have the Rosey Life course and community where we meet as a group once a week. And you can find more information about that as well, where I show up every Wednesday live answering your questions. And it's just so much fun. I look forward to that every Wednesday as well. Okay, so let's get back to this. So why I wanted to bring this up is because when you have a desire and you're like, okay, I've been told I can imagine or script or affirm something and get whatever I want. And now you're imagining something and you're thinking, oh, this would be cool, and you feel it and you're just like, yes, this is how I want to experience this. But then what happens? The past starts coming in. The mind starts going to the past where you're like, well, I don't know how this could possibly happen because of where I live or who I am or what I said or what happened, right? You automatically start linking past events or present events to the reason as to why you can't have it. And this is what happens to a lot of people. And then they wonder why they can't get out of this feeling like they can't have it, or they don't see anything happening. When you understand that, one, all creation is finished. Two, meaning everything you want has already been created. So if you can imagine it or come up with that fun, juicy, exciting idea, that's because it actually exists already for you. So if you can imagine, it's already created. Two, right? The other thing is you understand that everything that you want, nothing can touch it. Nothing can have access to your desire. Everything stands alone on its own little island. All your desires are like their own individual islands, and there's lots of space, water, whatever in between each desire. So if you had a past experience where things didn't work out for you, or things, whatever, fell down and blew up or whatever for you in your life, that experience cannot touch this new desire that you want. Everything is on its own. But what happens is we forget that there's that space or that water in between all our little islands, and that one doesn't connect to the other unless you build a little bridge from one desire to the other, linking them together, saying, well, that has to change in order for me to have this new experience, or I need to be different so that I can have this new experience. Now you're merging the old, the present, and the new, and the future. Now you're linking them all together when that's not how it is. Everything stands alone on its own individually, and you, when you're focusing or you're imagining, all you're doing is you're putting the attention on that desire that you want to see manifest. So in 3D, because the manifestation happens within, and I've said this for the longest time on my channel, is that the manifestation happens within. The external 3D, it happens as, again, the second time, but the actual manifestation is within. So also what I'm about to show you is something that I taught thousands of my previous therapy clients when I was a therapist. And it's something that I would use with people when they feel like they're spiraling in their mind and they just felt overwhelmed with everything. And the analogy that I would use with them is that it's like a salad bowl, right? That you have lettuce, that's one issue. And then you got tomatoes, that's another issue. Cucumbers, carrots, right? Pumpkin seeds, whatever. Then you have cheese and croutons and dressings. Like, then you mix it all up and then you're just like, oh my God, it feels so overwhelming, all the stuff inside. However, when you take out one ingredient at a time, that it becomes a lot easier to understand what that thing, that thought, or that feeling is there. What is that you're thinking or you're feeling? And when you can do these one thing at a time, it's really easy to separate everything else that's happening in your mind. The same thing with when we manifest, right? The other things don't have anything to do with your manifestation, but we get caught up and attaching all of these other experiences, or past, or present, or future, people, whatever is happening right now, not understanding that our desire it's not affected by anything or anyone. And all we have to do is remain focused on it, knowing that nothing can affect it. And so we're not trying to ignore everything else, right? But we're just choosing to focus on what it is that we want, one thing at a time. Now here in my office, when I was a therapist, I had a lot of little miniature figures. And because I used to do something that's called sand tray therapy. And what that was is that they just used all these little miniature figures to express what was in their subconscious mind in the sand tray. Now, I don't do that as a coach anymore, but I still use this analogy of a one thing at a time. So here I'm going to show you guys a little example, right? So here's a little tray of little things, right? And they don't have to make sense, right? And they don't have to, their face value, you don't even have to use their face value. You don't have to say, oh, that's a penguin. What does it have to do with manifesting? This is what I want you to do instead. When you are overwhelmed by your thoughts, right? I'm going to use this in manifesting, and I'm going to use this for when you're feeling overwhelmed with your thoughts, okay? So when you're overwhelmed with your thoughts and you have all this stuff going on, right? Maybe this represents your bills. Maybe this one represents your car, having problems. Maybe this one represents your mom, right? Or family issues, right? Maybe this one over here could represent your job, right? You're having stuff going on at work that you can't kick it off with. So when you look at the whole tray all together, it feels very overwhelming. You're just like, you just want to go hide under the bed, and you just want to go drink wine, or just go party, or just do something to forget about your life, because you're just like, it's just too much. I can't handle it. And this is when people start feeling stressed, anxious. They start biting their nails. They start drinking, overeating, munching, like all of these things they start trying to do to avoid what is happening in their life, when it's actually an easier fix to this. Instead, let's say that these are your problems. What you do is you select one, you pick up one, okay? I already forgot what I said this one was, but let's say that this one represents problems with your family. So you know that all of these other things are happening, but they are unrelated and have nothing to do with the problems that you're having with your family, right? You might think that they do, and you're saying that they do because you need their help with a car, or you need their help with the job or whatever, right? No, I want you to look at just the issue that you're having with your family and ask yourself, what do I want to happen in this situation? Unrelated to anything else, like what is it that I want to feel and experience with my family? And you stay with this thought until you decide what it is, the outcome that you want. What is the solution on your end? You don't need them to change. You need to decide what it is that you want to experience with them. And then you give it to yourself that, and you figure out, what is it that I can change how I think, how I feel, or maybe something that you need to do, right? And once you feel that some peace with that, then you put this one down, and then you go to the next one, and you say, okay, now the car. All right, so the car might be having some issue or needs an oil change, or I don't know. But what is it that I can do right now to help myself with this? One, I can visualize the end, right? That it goes where I want, right? And then from that place, you'll be inspired to take some action. Maybe it's something that you can do. Maybe you need to figure out what you can afford to do to the car right now. Or maybe it's that maybe I'm not going to make a decision about the car right now because it's not that much of an importance. It's not that of a priority. I don't want to spin my wheels in thinking about this at this moment, and it's actually okay, and it's something that I know will get fixed. See, now I can put this down, and then you go to the next thing, and you go to the next thing. But you do this one thought at a time. Now, how does this help you in manifesting? Tremendously. Because now you see, you can say, okay, this is my past, this is my present, and this is future thoughts, okay? But this is what I want. I want this. This is what I want, right? But so here's what we do. We make that all of these things, the past, the present, the future, right? We make all of these things, they're like, well, this has to change from the past so that I can get this. And right now I'm feeling this, so I better fix this so that I can get this. And this future thought, right, is going to be affected if I don't get this. Right? So we make everything attached. We give everything meaning to this. Well, if you look at your desires individually instead, you do it one thing at a time. You say, I want this. Okay, I'm going to focus on that. It has nothing to do with past, nothing to do with present, nothing to do with my future, because I'm in charge of all of this. I can want this, and I don't have to worry about what is happening, what happened, or what could happen. These are all different desires, or all different states. All I have to do is focus on this, and you bring in more distance between your desires. They're not connected. They don't touch each other unless you make them. You can make them touch each other. You can make them connect. You can make the cause of the past or the present or future is going to affect your desire, or that if you don't revise something or if you don't change something that you can't have what you want. No. Your desire is unaffected by anything and everyone. It stands on its own. You are the only one that is making it mean that it has something from the past or the present has to change in order for you to get it. And this also includes your thoughts, whatever you think and whatever you feel. You don't have to be different. You don't have to change yourself. You don't have to change your self-concept. You don't have to do any of this to have what you want. Your desire stands alone. And within that desire comes your self-concept, comes your new emotions, new thoughts, and all of those things. And it does affect your past, and it does affect your present, and it does affect your seeming future. Because whenever you step into a wish fulfilled, it's a whole island. Remember, it's an entire island. Someone in my course and community used the analogy of a snow globe, right? That too is another way to look at it, that these are all snow globes. And if you look at a snow globe and you put 5 snow globes next to each other, that snow globe doesn't live in the other snow globe. They're not affected. They have their own little villages, they have their own little towns, right? And it doesn't care what the other snow globe is doing, right? You just focus in on that little snow globe scene that you want, knowing that the other ones that you've experienced before or that you're afraid of, they can't affect this one unless you make them connected, unless you say that one has to be okay with the other. So I intend that this video is helpful. I really intend that you guys feel peace and are able to start seeing more clearly that you can have everything that you want, and you don't have to figure out how these connects, what you desire connects to where you are, because they're unaffected. All of those details are handled for us. Everything is handled for us. Our only job is to remain faithful to that scene, that island, that snow globe, that object that represents your desire. All right, my loves, thank you so much for being here, and thank you for liking the video and sharing it with others. I really appreciate your support. I love you guys. Bye.